What if there was a way that you could get your dog dialed in on just you in any of the most distracting environments that you could think of? Today we're going to be working on just that, dialing your dog in so that no matter what environment that you're in and no matter the competing motivators that are around, you exist with your dog. Hi, I'm Kristen and I'm from Salty Pack. So welcome back to day 27. What we're going to be working on today is something that I learned from Pat Stewart, so credit where credit is due. We're doing just that. We're just dialing our dog in. So in just a minute, what it's going to look like, you'll see a little bit of a demonstration with Odin the Staffy, but just talking through a little bit of it before we actually look. We're going to be taking our dogs out into a relatively distracting environment today. Maybe some competing motivators around. I don't want you to go to Disneyland necessarily with your dog quite yet as we start to learn this game, because it's going to be a little bit clunky sometimes at first for some people. So go somewhere that you are going to be challenged with your dog, but don't make it impossible either. So what you'll see me doing with Odin is giving that marker word of yes and dialing him in. Odin is at a place that he has gone to the dog park before, so he kind of thinks that we're there for that. Fair play, we usually go to the dog park. So for him in that environment, he's more anticipating like trying to get over to the dog park area. Now, don't be discouraged if your dog starts to look over into some of the competing motivators or where they think that they're going. This is kind of the whole point. So when you give your yes, if your dog is not really responsive to it, again, we would like a really reflexive response, but if it does take a little bit because maybe the competition that you're around is a little bit more than you might have anticipated, this is where we're going to give those little taps on the collar that we've been practicing the whole time, or whatever equipment that you're using. So start to tap on your dog with using your leash, and then we're just going to be dialing them in. So you must take the reward from me when I give that yes command. This is not only going to strengthen your yes, but also build engagement and value in you as well too. Movement backwards is really powerful here as well to sort of draw your dog in. So again, if we've got a little bit more of a distracting environment than the dog is used to, let's help them out a little bit more. So as you continue moving backwards, dialing your dog in, again, every time that they start to look towards the environment or the competing motivator that we're around, and they're not paying super attention to you, just giving those little taps on the leash is going to be really important here. So make sure that once you give those taps, they start when your dog is sort of distracted and they stop once they come in. So make sure that you're kind of practicing your timely nature here as well. Now, don't be discouraged if it feels like it's taking a long time to dial your dog in. Remember going back to when we saw Ziggy, the Border Collie, and we sort of talked about how that, we want to get about 20 to 30% of mistakes and 70 to 80% correct. That's sort of that flow state that we want to be in. So it's totally fine. It's sort of like you practicing meditation, if you've ever practiced meditation before. A lot of people go, oh, I'm just terrible at meditation, because they tell you to clear your mind and then immediately you go to, did I leave the stove on, or what's for dinner, or what do I need to do tomorrow? And then you go, no, I've got to come back to meditation. I have to clear my mind. That's kind of the whole point of meditation, is you're acknowledging that these thoughts are fleeting and passing and unimportant at the moment, but coming back into center. So sort of think of like you and your dog doing this sort of meditative practice together as well. It's totally fine if they kind of veer off and maybe their focus is elsewhere. Hey man, focus comes back to me. Remember, we're doing the things together, right? So don't be discouraged if there is a little bit going on for you and your dog. Patience and set yourself up for success, but remember that that flow state does include mistakes. So once you get good at this exercise, remember this one even after the challenge. This is a great exercise that you can pull out no matter where you are to sort of dial your dog back in, creating more focus, engagement, value in you, all the things. So as always, grab your phone for filming, grab your hungry dog, grab their breakfast or their dinner that you've got in your treat pouch or your pockets, and let's have some fun. Okay, so we got Odin, big old boy Odin for getting us dialed in. So you can, for today, take your dog somewhere that is going to be a little bit distracting for them. It could be like a very busy environment. For Odin, we've got the dog park that's like one of his favorite places to be. So we're gonna dial him in just beforehand. Odie, nice, yes. Whoa, you gotta come and get it. Nice, yeah, nice boy. Good, yes. In between your rewards, you can do a little bit of those little taps if he kind of slows down. Yeah, yes. Nice boy. There we go. Good. Nice. Oh, you gonna follow? Nice. Yes. So your dog might get a little bit more distracted than he is. I know. Oh my gosh. In which case you can use those little like taps just to bring him back in if they start to get a little bit distracted. So if he gets distracted anywhere, oh, good boy. Yes. Nice, good boy. Tap, 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 tap. Yes. Just speeds him up a little bit. Leg workout for the morning. Good. Yes. Nice. So it keeps him engaged with us. Nice. Good boy. Super boy. Good man. So that's a nice little like kind of start that you can do. Odin. Yes. Good. I don't want you getting too far out there, bud. And I can even like just redial him back in. Nice. Good boy. There we go. Let's go. Yes. So good thing to do in like busy environments. You can start pretty far away from something that's pretty triggering or busy or stimulating. Get closer and closer, then come back out. Those little taps are if they kind of like disengage, like maybe he was like, ah, but the dog park's right there. If he kind of like looks that way, tap, 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 tap until he's checked back in with you, those taps stop. And then you can get those rewards. Nice job, bud. So it's just a good way to dial in your dog before you even like go out into the environment that you're going to be working in, particularly if it's a super busy, stimulating, whatever environment for your dog. That was so good, my boy. A little bit of fitness as well too for us. You can do this either like walking to a location. You can do this just getting out of the car. Odin's just got out of the car and this is the very first thing that we did. So you can do this like kind of at any point in time that your dog is like, wow, this is super exciting for me. I kind of want to be engaged in some of this other stuff. And you're like, no, 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 I need your attention back here. Makes it a lot easier once we actually go into our walk. So have a little play around with that. Backwards works easy. If your dog's not that food motivated, you can also do like, if he's coming in, you can give him little pats and cuddles. He disconnects, still taps, nice job, bud. And then give him that kind of like verbal praise as well too. It doesn't need to be with food. Super boy, let's go, mate. That was too good. All right, thank you for joining along for day 27 of the 30-day loose leash walking challenge. We are almost done. Now you have a better understanding of how to dial your dog in less distracting environments, but also in more distracting environments. So you can use that tool kind of anywhere that you go if you need a little bit more engagement with your dog. My name is Kristen from Salty Pack, and if you or your dog found anything a little bit more difficult today, maybe just drop a comment and I can break it down even further for you. We'll see you tomorrow.